It was like I stepped into a whole other world when I got to the other side of the cemetery gate. It held an energy that was brighter, yes, still slightly cold, but also was a bit more whimsical. It was hard to explain, but I certainly felt more of a welcoming and peaceful presence? Atmosphere? Well, I had to admit, the bear on the tombstone was certainly not really threatening, especially with all that was going on. Hello? May I come in? I spoke softly, tentatively approaching the tombstone. My footfalls were soft on the small cement pathway, and it was like I didn't want to overstep any boundaries that was being silently imposed on me with just the bear's staring eyes alone. I guess you're right, I am already inside. I laughed slightly to myself. The wind blew around me with its own soothing welcome, and I slightly breathed in the peace. I mean, if you didn't want me in here, you would have chased me out by now. So here I ask, do you want me to stay? I continued with a light tone, almost inquisitively hopeful, as I still didn't feel like returning to the others. Maybe there was a reason I was here. There was no reply to my answer. However, the only response I considered was the uptick in the cool night breeze. Had I been anyone else, I would have skirted by and just not paid as much attention to the world around me. But, as I was who I was, there were active listeners ready to jump at the chance of interaction. I mean, how many people often take time out of their lives to just listen to the world they were taught to believe never speaks? In reality, they have more to say than we really do for ourselves. I decided that the wind was actually confirming me to stay and interact with the atmosphere a bit more, so long as I behaved, and I allowed my tense muscles to ease and relax. I began to walk around a bit and just explore this little space. After all, it was something I hadn't seen before, and from the looks of it, it was some place that closed early to the public, from what I assumed anyway. To all who have fought for our lives and encouraged that we continue to fight for our future. We shall never forget the blood that was shed fighting to keep our burning light. I read from the tombstones, bordering around the one seating the stuffed bear, gaining an understanding of who lied in that small secluded patch of land. I see. You all were of service, I mused to myself, then looked at all the brick-like markers decorating the grassy floor, all nameless. I thank you all for your service. You have fought and passed with the integrity and versatility of warriors, for mine and many others' lives. You deserve to rest knowing you did what you were called upon for. I mused aloud respectfully, and bowed deeply where I stood, my hair hanging from either side of my head at the action. I made sure Trooper didn't fall out of the collar of my hoodie also, keeping in mind how he would be displeased with me later if I did, or that I even embarrassed him in front of his fallen brethren. At least, I think they were brethren. Ah well, veterans of any stature were brethren in my book. Upon the wind picking up again, I stood myself upright and felt that was an invitation to approach the bear on the main gravestone. Upon being close enough to see the words on the stone, despite it facing away from the moonlight and being cast in shadow, I realized that whatever words it once held were worn away, and I couldn't decipher what it could have initially read, however long ago it was created. Probably more messages like the previous couple I read before, although, upon citing what seemed like dates at the very bottom, I had an inkling it was more than that. So, I assume you were a guardian of sorts on the sacred ground. I referred to the stuffed bear on the gravestone, sitting onto my knees and heels in front of them. The bear was definitely not a new addition, seeming to be worn and torn from the elements it endured. Its fur color having probably been a bright navy blue at one point, but was bleached by its time in the sun along with its tattered ribbon. The toy's stitched angel wings shredded in some places while being completely bald on others, and finally, its dark eyes being glazed and clouded over by a process I didn't completely understand myself. But despite this, I could sense a fighter spirit within it. Him. He had a white star stitched into his chest that had one red line bordering the top of it, with the bottom being a lighter blue color, and he certainly wore it proudly. Even his cloudy eyes held a certain sheen of its own, a serious one, that spoke clearly that he wasn't afraid of getting his paws dirty in the face of any foolish adversity that was ignorant enough to try. Whoa, relax. I mean you no harm, sir. I can see why you're a designated guardian. You can thrash a sucker, no doubts about it. I spoke to the stuffed bear. Yes, you heard me correctly. I spoke to him, as I was not unused to doing so. I could feel he was tired and on edge, and sought to ease whatever tension, make-believe or otherwise, I could have caused without meaning to. However, I soon got the sense that he wasn't so afraid of me, but was just sizing up and gauging whether I was truly a threat or not to his homestead. Something told me he wasn't the one who let me in, but was friends with the one who thought to do so anyway. Well, I thank you for having me anyway. I'm glad I don't come off like some kind of ill-meaning goon. Then again, I certainly don't look the part. Oh, right, my hoodie. Had anyone been passing by and caught sight of my interaction, they would have locked me up in a kook house right away. One-sided conversation was usually not a normal occurrence to come by, I knew, but I couldn't explain how I could just easily do it. Reminds me how conversation with no one was easier than real conversation with others that I just didn't fit in with. God, I am such an introvert. Or antisocial. I fell onto my back with a huff, staring up into the dark, slightly starry sky. Dim and tranquil clouds floated by slowly as I internally groaned to myself, but I nearly jerked up in shock as I felt something slap into my face again. It was another leaf, but I immediately pushed myself back up into a sitting position, looking at the bear again. He hadn't changed, but a single thought in my head shared a different story. Sorry, laying down here is rude. Got it, won't happen again. I smiled sheepishly, lowering my head in guilt at doing such an action in front of the stern groundskeeper. Moments like that, though, are such eye-opening stuff to me and absolutely confirmed that I wasn't the only one there and aware. It's a creepy thought, and it might very well be coincidence, but it's something I just got so used to in my life that I just flow with it. Anyway, I haven't introduced myself, have I? Or especially my friend here. Trooper, say hello. Oh, he already did? Never mind. Anyway, my name is Emery, and I'm here to pay my respects. Or I probably already did, but, I take back what I said before. He was making me nervous to talk. The energy he exuded was just pure seriousness that I just didn't want to say something that would rub him the wrong way. And yes, I know he was just a stuffed bear, but the leaf was signed enough that he was capable of so much more. I didn't want to speak wrong. Oh, Trooper, yeah, that's a good idea, but it's yours. Are you sure? Okay, well, if you say it's okay, then okay. I just ended up getting an idea to ease whatever tension there would be between me and the groundskeeper. That more than definitely came from Trooper. I brought him out from the collar of my hoodie and placed him onto my knees, turning him around to face the bear. I ended up unclipping the sash I made for him and reached up to offer it to the bear. I asked permission to approach, and upon no outright external protestation, I leaned up and began clipping the sash around his top torso and slightly over his already tattered blue ribbon. "Aw, hell yeah, looking extra snazzy tonight." I snickered in a goofy tone, and the moonlight had angled in such a way to have the bear's eyes glint brightly. He was laughing too. Or was just amused at my antics. I knew he liked the gift. "So, we good now? You're not going to keep glaring at me for being stupid, are ya?" "Oh, please. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't know what you should fix in your behavior." And Mr. Unpleasant is back. Seriously, you keep going in and out here. Do you stay or do you go? I have to know. Sorry, don't mind us. We usually do quips like this. I smiled sheepishly at the bear again, but Trooper was quick to come in with another comment. "You do realize you haven't asked for his name, right?" "Ah, shit. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Never mind. What name do you go by?" I asked outright, eyes glinting brightly in the moonlight. The wind blew in my face again and tossed a couple of leaves my way in a fluttering, choreographed order. There was nothing but silence otherwise, and I became nervous again. Trooper? A little help here?" I spoke in a small voice, leaning into my stuffed Doberman. "Well, this is unlike you, Em. I thought you prided yourself on hearing what others don't." I audibly whined at his scathing comment, although I knew he was just teasing me. "Well, what do you expect? You spend a lot of time in this world, you begin to question the things you yourself can do. That's the price of being human, I guess. Anyway, he did say... Well, ain't I rude?"
No, no. In all the time I've been here, no one has ever tried to listen to anything I say. Well, not like I tried to speak much anyway. It's been a futile effort thus far.
A new voice spoke in my head, and I say spoke loosely as I just imagined the bear to have a slight southern drawl, and was pleasantly surprised at how warm and homely his gravelly voice was. It was a far cry to the bodyguard aura he held. He was like some kind of father that seemed intimidating on appearance, but was really just a big, cuddly, and caring teddy bear. That made me warm inside. Ah, you're so cute. How could I have been so intimidated? You're so nice. Ah. I absolutely gushed at his adorably cuddly self, but knew better than to reach out and snuggle the bear to death. He was still a groundskeeper after all. I knew my boundaries. But then, I paused when a new thought bloomed into my mind, and what followed the unfurling was an entire look into what I thought his life story would have been. Abraham, that's you, isn't it? I think I saw...
Please, I'd rather you keep that to yourself. I only showed you this because I trust you.
Tears suddenly sprung into my eyes at his words. The amount of broken pain it held, the tragedy, his poor daughter.
You all right, Em?
I heard Trooper inquire softly, and I pursed my lips as a single tear dropped down my face, but I quickly wiped it away with the back of my hand. I'm okay. Just... Abraham, sir, if anyone deserves that sash, it's definitely you. God, sorry, tears.
That's quite thoughtful of you, young lady, but I must say, I absolutely prohibit the shedding of tears in this here land I keep mind over. Wipe them away, sweetheart.
Oh, God, that just makes things worse. I giggled as hot tears continued to pour down my face, and I attempted in a vain effort to wipe the waterworks away. Gotta follow the rules, you know? Oh, Jesus, this absolutely felt real. Too real. I spent several moments trying to keep a firm grip on my composure. It would have been a bad look for me to have red puffy eyes once I decided to make my return to my family. Which should be soon if I didn't want to get into a deep pit of trouble for it.
Before you go, you should sing old Abraham here a song. I'm sure he'd absolutely appreciate it. Oh, I'm not that old, Green. Don't think my wear and tear keeps me from doing my due diligence. I'll still show you what for.
I laughed along with Trooper at Abraham's words, them not necessarily holding much weight of an actual threat, but still holding a teasing undertone in them. It was very reminiscent of endearing banter between two individuals of similar backgrounds. Two like-minded and very serious individuals, but friends nonetheless. This was beautiful.
Oh, wait! But sure, I'd love one. Better not be one of those modern pop songs that you and your generation call music. Blech.
Oi! They're still good tunes. Well, most of them are. Some of them are questionable at best. I had attempted to protest, but even I had to own up to the fact that some select few certain songs exist. For some reason. Ah, well. What song are you looking for? I know quite a few. Maybe not in terms of completion, but I still know enough to consider myself a fairly good invested singer.
I prefer a happy tune, if I'm being honest, but just anything other than what you hyper kids listen to these days.
Alright, I got you. So, I decided to sing a song that is both happy but also swells with exhilarating triumph. It's from my favorite band, Smash Into Pieces, a recent favorite, and it's called Running Away From Home.
Interesting band name.
I could hear him judging my choice already.
They're actually pretty good.
Thank you! Trooper had jumped in and defended my honor, and I cleared my throat to prepare to sing the first note. I'll show him just how great the band was. Trying to spend my nights alone. All the noises got me thinking. In my thoughts I keep on sinking down below.
Sounds familiar.
Shut up, Trooper, I'm singing. Trying to keep myself awake. Hearing voices while I'm sleeping. You know what, Trooper, you're actually right. This does sound like me.
Right?
Telling me what to believe in, but I know I'm running away from home to the silence on my own. I'm running away from home where the nightmares won't follow. I'm running away from home. I'm running away from home. I sang softly, but I couldn't tell how soft, since I was known for not being completely aware of how loud my voice could actually get. So for all I knew, it wasn't that quiet at all. Ah well, I wonder what Abraham thinks.
Well, that song was just delightful.
Yay!
Certainly a joy to listen to. A little bit loud in the delivery in there, if you did want to be found, though. But I do enjoy the passion.
Was I really that loud?
I'm sure it was fine. We're well beyond the point of earshot at the party, so I'd say you're pretty good.
Trooper assured me in nonchalance, and so I allowed myself a breath of relief.
Whether someone heard you or not, I'd still say it's a good idea to get your behind back to that party. It's been more than long enough now.
Oh, but there's still so much I want to talk to you about. Like, what you think about the grave desecrations worldwide. And about the rumors of a warrior from space.
Hey, what are you doing in there?
I peered over the gravestone with wide, startled eyes, just as a large cloud lumbered in front of the bright moon, taking the spotlight away from me for an instant, and I looked beyond the dark gate and found a man looking in.
You, don't move. I'm coming in there.
Panic blared in my mind as I undoubtedly went sheet white in terror, and went into fight or flight mode. Hell, I was just about to go into freeze mode had I not snaked a look around for an escape, instantly forgetting how I first got into the area in the first place, but stopped again when I saw something. There was a corner of darkness in the vicinity. Any light available from the moon didn't seem to be capable of reaching that area full of a cluster of large, wide-spreading oak trees. But the cloud obscuring the moon didn't seem to help matters anymore either. But there, just between a couple of the trees, in the darkness, was a weird orangey yellow-looking light that seemed to reach up to right below the first bottom branches of the very tall trees. I, at first, thought nothing of it, but when it suddenly moved, I jolted in shock once again. I didn't know what it was, but the concept of them being eyes flashed through my mind and incited terror into me. Run, Em! Run, 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 run! That played in my head on loop as I spurred up from the ground, shoving Trooper into my hoodie like a kangaroo mom, and burst into a blind sprint back towards where I came. I narrowly avoided ramming and toppling straight over the many rows of tombstones in my way, just feeling like I basically glided through and over the land once I regained my bearings in a quick succession. I was always told from observant people that I was quick in recovering. Wonder if my quick-witted and acrobatic brain, or how it developed, had anything to do with it. Once I reached the black Gothic and chained gate, I remembered how it was chained only by how I tried to tug the damn thing open in my near-blind panic. But once I managed to slip out again, my heart nearly stopped upon a large man-sized shadow appearing out of nowhere, and large hands outstretching to grab a hold of me. A loud squeal was elicited from me at the terrifying event, but in a mere moment of primal instinct, I ended up dodging and weaving around the man, make him only grab at air and nearly lose his balance from his built-up momentum. Without even waiting, I kicked into a sprint and basically 100-yard dashed my way across the dark field, where I previously spoke on the crisis of existence in, and determined the destination all the way towards the salvation of bright amber and gold fairy lights, bobbing in the swelling and excited wind, leaving the shadow of the scary man and the chained-off graveyard behind me as I streaked across the dark field to the light. Well, one thing was for sure. This reawakened my absolute love for running again.